Happy Wednesday, everyone. Today I have a pretty cool thing I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you a property that we actually just are closing on. Should be about next May 30th is the closing date, and we should receive our wire by then. I'm going to show you how this jar of dirt right here made us $220,000 right here from one jar of dirt. Pretty insane. So I'm going to break that down. I'm going to show you where the deal came from, how we found it, what we did to find out if this was a good deal, the full breakdown of all the stuff we did to list it, get it ready, and everything like that. Pretty excited about this deal. This is a really good one. This came off, kind of went off without a hitch, and we're pretty excited. It did take a little bit of, going through some different things, getting surveys done, all that stuff to make sure it was definitely a good deal. But all in all, it was just such a solid property. So yeah, let's talk about that. And I want to answer some of your questions. If you guys have questions, please feel free to ask them so I could get them answered live here. Awesome. So before we get going, I just want to share this with you guys. If you guys, what's up, John? If you guys don't have this, this is landinvestor.co. This is the PA that we use to lock up deals just like this. So go right here, landinvestor.co/PA, and you could fill that out and you could get the same PA yourself. You could use that to lock up your 6-figure deals. So, and if you guys are looking to learn more about this stuff, we actually have a webinar coming up, landinvestor.co/webinar. This is going to be a Leah webinar. We're talking all about land, and you can talk about these types of deals, all different types of deals that are coming up. We're going to go over a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about everything. Sumner's putting on. It's going to be insane. Just go to landinvestor.co/webinar. Hop on there. You're going to love it. So cool. Let's get into this deal a little bit. I want to go through everything. I want to show you guys. So I get every time we close a deal, I get a bag of dirt sent to me. I have a whole box of them right here that I actually have to put up on this wall. Some more here. Here's some more right here. And each one of these bags of dirt represents a property that we've sold. See here. All these. So got a whole slew of them in this bag. And then all these jars, I got to fill this up. So what we do is we ask for a bag of dirt, and this is just like a little memento we have of every property that we do. You can see this is just dirt. This dirt right here is worth $220,000 to us, which is insane. It's pretty good. It doesn't smell like money. It smells like dirt, but I love it. So that jar of dirt right there is basically, I mean, that's somebody's salary. 2 years of somebody's salary. The average income for the U.S. is around $65,000 for New Jersey, at least, and for median income. So I basically, like, on that one deal, it's like almost 4 full salaries for one median income for a New Jersey resident, which is insane. So I'll show you guys real quick what this deal looked like. Some of the pictures. Dennis the Dirt Collector. You know it. I like that. That's going to be a good name for me. Dennis the Dirt Collector. All right. So here it is. So let me do this. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So this is, I'll pull this up. This is the property right here. That's not it. This is A9911. A99 right here. Go. Okay, so see that right there? Cash for Land USA. That's us because we bought the property. We own it. So when we first originally got this deal, this came in. We picked this market from Land Insights. So if you guys aren't using Land Insights, this is actually how we pick this market. So Land Insights right here. If you go to landinsights.co, I'll drop the link. You can set up a apply now right here. I just drop this. I have a banner. Now we don't always. There's trying to find the banner right here. Schedule your demo call. So with Land Insights, we have very limited spots. There's not always openings, so you got to get on there quick. Right now, with everything scheduled, I think about 2 weeks out. If you wanted to schedule a demo call, so you got to hop on there, schedule your demo call, and talk more about it. But what we did is we picked this market. We basically looked for markets in North Carolina because that's a lot of what we do work in, and we look for markets for deals that have like bigger acreages that are moving because we're looking to make that 6-figure plus per deal. You know, we really want to make 30K or more per deal, but now we're actually fine tuning our process. We're going to actually be wholesaling a lot of our deals out that are less than 100K value. Anything over 100K, then we're going to evaluate and see if we want to keep it or not. Anything less than 100K, we're going to just probably wholesale them out. So what we're doing is we're looking for 6-figure deals. I'd like to do less deals, but larger margins. So this deal, for instance, was a deal that we got that we originally mailed it. I'm going to send my first mailer using Land Insights. Excited to compare my data to other mails. Oh, dude, you're going to love it. It's insane. Yeah, it's totally different. I mean, the data we're getting with Land Insights, you're basically fine-tuning. Instead of sitting there and like picking markets by yourself, it takes a lot of time. You could totally do this by yourself and whatever, but it's like all the time you spent, it's done for you. That's the whole point of it. But anyways, so what we're looking at, we look for these 6-figure deals. We want to find something that we could buy it for 150 and sell it for 250 or something like that. We just closed on a deal the other day. We bought it for 135. List price is going to be actually 240, but we're actually listing it for 199 just because we want to move it really fast and make a quick turn. That deal is in, I'll pull that one up in a few minutes. It's in Harnett County. We listed it at 199 for a couple reasons on that deal, just because we want to get those 200K and less buyers to look at our property, and maybe they'll bid up to 210, 220, something like that. Yeah, John, so I'll talk about this. So at first glance, when you're looking at this property, this looks landlocked, right? So this is probably a property that would have gotten scrubbed out at first glance. So you're looking at this. Let me turn off. Let's see. Let's see. They changed some of the stuff on here, and I actually don't know how to use some of it now. Boundaries, land use, residential, industrial, vacant, commercial, city limits, conservation easements. Where is it? Contour lines. Okay. So judging quickly at this property, you're like, this property is landlocked. It is not good. I can't access it. Okay. So this is definitely one that would have gotten scrubbed out. 110% would have gotten scrubbed out. Only reason why we didn't scrub it out is when we mailed this county, we did not. So what we've noticed, what we did when this lead came in, I was like, this thing looks landlocked. And we did some deeper due diligence. We looked at it. I mean, I'm looking at this property. It's a pretty nice, big 71-acre parcel. It's got some hills, some valleys, and all that stuff. It's almost like a little mountain right here. But we looked at it. We're like, yeah, this is probably not going to be a good property. So what we had to do is we had to kind of look into it. We decided to move forward with it. We were like, let's look into it. So what we did is we went to Person County deed of registers, and we started looking into the actual parcel number, A9911. And here we go. We found a deed attached to the deed was this, a deed of easement. Now, the deed of easement made and entered on May 7th in July 1977, blah, blah, blah. It kind of explains everything about the deed, the easement, all that stuff. And it gives us the points to look at. It actually tells us where the deeded easement is and all that stuff. Okay. So we were like, Okay, so it does have an easement. So what we did, we looked deeper into it. Let's see if this one comes up. This is our purchase contract that we sent out. We kind of dug in with the the county itself to see. Here it is there actually an easement? Now, what we found, we actually didn't find it on the page that this property is listed on. We actually found it on a different page. So I think it was this one right here. Let's see, zoom in. Zoom in. Okay. All right. So I'm pretty sure this is the one. Okay. So here it is. So what we had to do is we actually looked at other parcels in the area. And this is the parcel actually back here that we bought. It's not even on this page. Okay. So when you pulled up the parcel map for this property, it does not show our parcel. I mean, it does not show the easement. It actually shows it's actually landlocked. But then when we looked here, we found this was recently surveyed by a surveyor. So what we did was we looked right here at deed book, existing 29-foot easement on deed book 148, page 461. So what we did is we looked that up, and that proved the easement. But that's where we found this right here. That's not it. We found it. Still finish Pierce. No, that's not it either. Sorry, guys. Yeah, this was it. Let's see if that's open. So that's where we found this. So it says right here, 148,461, 148,461. So that's where we found it. We pulled it up and we're like, holy crap, it does have a deeded easement. And then that's when we started our investigation. We sent a contract as soon as we saw that. We're like, all right, I'm game. This is a good property. What we did next was once we found that we had this deeded easement, what we did was we reached out to our local realtor in the area, and we asked him, we're like, hey man, we got this property. It's got a deeded easement. It's 29 foot, big property, this and that. What do you think about this property? And this is the importance of building relationships with good local agents, very local agents, instead of working with somebody who does the whole state or all that stuff. Having that more centralized local knowledge, really, this is honestly the only reason why we got this deal done, was because of that. So he was able to look into it, and he looked at us and he's like, yeah, this deal right here, I'll tell you, I just sold one not even 2 weeks ago that was almost exactly the same, and it was also off an easement, because usually easement type properties are worth a lot less. So I was like, whatever. So he looked at it and he's like, yeah, this property is going to be really good. So he's like, let me go check it out. So he went down, he took some pictures for us. Right here. All right, so here's some pictures that we got. So he went down, he walked the property, got into the gate, took some pictures. Just a big old wooded area. It's got some topo, a lot of tall old pines. Timber value on this property alone. So let's see, because we did a so it's about 71 acres, and it's about 2,400 an acre here. So timber value alone on this property, if we were to just timber it out and sell all the timber, is worth 170K, just timber value. That's just for pines. Hardwoods are actually going for about 4K an acre. So it could probably have gotten more, but if we were just basing it off of pines. So this is all the drone shots and different pictures he's took for us. It's just a pretty, and this is during the winter too when he took them, so it's not budded out or anything like that either. You can see it's just a nice big parcel. We got some couple low valleys with some water in there, perfect for hunting. This is like The owners used it for like the past like 50 years for hunting. That's his dog. um, so there we go. So how do you find the timber value? So how do you find the timber value? You kind of have to know the local area to get timber value. I just know in North Carolina in this region, timber value is around 2,400, 2,400 per acre, and it has to be over a certain size. Now, the further you are away from a sawmill, but obviously it's going to be less because they have to truck it and stuff. Um, Closer you are, the more it's going to be worth. Like if I was in Hope County, I could probably sell it for $3K an acre if I have because I have a mill right there that I would sell to. So the value changes there, and then same thing for hardwoods and stuff like that. If you did want to find out true value of a property, you'd have to get something called a timber cruise done. And basically, somebody comes in and they go through and they plot different spots. So let's say they would do one plot per acre. So a 70-acre plot would cost you 70 acres to do one plot per acre. Would give you a rough assumption of value. Would be 70 times 5. So it'd be 71 acres times 50. Be $3,550 to get a valuation on the property. It's almost like an appraisal. It's like a timber appraisal. To get like a true value though on a per acre plot, you'd probably need to get like 71 acres times probably have to do 6 plots. Probably about 6 plots. So that'd be about 300. So get like a true value would be like 21K. Is it worth it if you're not timbering it? If you're not like a timber guy, it's not really worth it. We are going to be buying land to timber. That's why I'm kind of learning about a lot of this stuff. But yeah, so this is the property. It's gorgeous. I've never even set foot on it, but yeah. So that's pretty much it. So quick glance, yeah, we would have passed on this, but we looked at it and we're like, damn, okay, so there is value here. We have this easement. So here we are here. This is the actual listing, and I'll show you what we did with listing it. You can see this is the property itself with the easement. He drew the easement in a different color. Here's all the pictures and stuff like that. You got the drone, the big 3D shots and everything like that with coverts, the water, showing it off. Right now, this property is absolutely gorgeous. It's all budded out. They got tons of leaves and foliage on it. It's really beautiful now. I'm actually going to go see it next week. Actually, probably on Friday or Saturday, I'm going to probably go see it. So this is how we did our listing. We took a ton of pictures. Just really kind of to put as many pictures as we can so people come look at this. Here's like a full zoomed out view, everything like that. So we normally would do a little bit more, but we kind of kept it kind of basic on here. We let him do his thing, towering pines, more mature hardwood, blah, blah, blah. That's his full listing description, everything like that. So this is actually wrong. We had an insane amount of views and saves on this property. So what we did is we originally listed this for $425, right? So we bought this property. Let me show you this. We bought this property for right here. So this is the property. This is the actual HUD from when we purchased the property. So we bought this property for $145,000 right here. And what we did is we bought it, but we actually raised $160,000 right here. So we actually got paid to buy this property. We got paid $13,298 to buy this property. So when we closed on it, we actually got a check for $13,298. And total cost to buy this property was he got $144,491. So that's what he got, the seller. And then we took pictures, got it listed right away. So we listed this thing right away. We listed this back in, probably tell you. So we listed this. I think we listed this back on March 11th. Let me show you too. So we had to get a survey done And that's how we found out more about this property. Hmm. Okay. So right here we hired the same guy that surveyed this. He came and surveyed the easement out before we closed on the property. So we surveyed it and we re-recorded this. So now it's in deed book 905-385 tax map, and that shows you that easement. So we had to re-record that before we closed on the property. So once we recorded that easement, then we were confident we could close on it. Okay, here's this. Okay. Let's see. That's all that. Okay. I have here. That's a survey. Oh, what am I doing, dummy? We should have the closing docs. Current wire. Yeah, we closed on this on March 11th. We were listed on like March 13th, something like that, March 12th. Like right away, we just got it up. So this property we cut. We did a price cut on 415. So we listed this originally for 425, and we had a ton of interest, ton of views, and all this stuff, and it was going nuts. So after a little time, we had a bunch of people walking in, all that stuff, and we didn't have any offers yet. So we're like, what did we do different? So what we ended up doing, we ended up dropping the price drastically. We wanted to get it under 400K. And once we got it under 400K, that's when we started seeing a lot of interest come back. So we dropped it $30,000. 296 Mariah Road. Okay. So we dropped it $30,000, and that's when we actually got to see a lot of the activity. A lot more people coming on and offering. So here's the property. Yet again, it doesn't look like it has an easement, which is great. I'm going to show you real quick the comps that we saw and the reason why we went for this, and then I'll talk about the acquisition side of things and all that stuff and how we got it under contract and everything. So here we go. Let me turn this on. If you guys don't have the Land Insights Chrome extension, you guys are nuts because like it's crazy. It's so easy. I'll show you guys what it does. Let's see here. So let's say we put 20 acres in. All right. So it's automatically going to change it to land only. So I was looking at all these different parcels and I'm like, what is going on in this county? This area, like this whole area, there's so many big deals closing. So I'll go just 40 plus acres and I'll show you. Okay. So we had this deal right here. With this deal now. Zoom out a little further. I'm not sure what's going on here. And okay. For some reason it's showing me some other properties that we don't want to see. So we saw some of these properties, like over here. This one sold for $750, and we're like, that's crazy. Let me refresh this real quick. Okay. So that sold for $750, and then we had another big one. We are right around this area right here, Mariah. There was another one that sold for $350. Let's see. So you got another 722 right here. This is far out though. This is over to the right. We had a 600K to the left. We were about like 20 minutes outside of Durham, which is one of the reasons why we thought this is going to go for a lot of money. We had another 700, another 722, 280. We had so many bigger properties selling for a ton of money. 750. And we saw that we're like, man, something's going on here. So once we got it under contract, we were like, let's try to push some comps when we go to list it. And we listed it at 425. Um, I think if we would have sat on it a little longer, I think we would have been able to actually sell it for probably 425 or more. We had this one. John just asked, how long did it take to get your escrow with the end buyer? So I think we listed March 11th and we went under contract April 29th. So what's that? That's like 45 days, something like that, around that. I'm trying to find the one parcel. There was a parcel that we had that was an exact, like, perfect comp for us. I don't think this is it. No, this isn't it. It was a 71 acre parcel that sold, and it had let's see. $50 on the max. Huh. Can't find it. Wonder why. Oh, that last 30 days. So 12 months. All right. Let's see if it's over here. This is us. This is when we bought it for 145 right here. You could see. And right here. There we go. So this is our comp that we use to get our pricing. This comp exactly right here is the one we were like, okay, so we're good because this is off an easement, almost exact replica property. That's your best comp. When you're looking for comps, you want to find something that's exactly like yours. If you find something like yours, no reason why you can't sell it for the same price. So looking at this property, it's got the gate, we have all the same stuff. We were like, okay, this one is exactly the same. It's got the deeded easement. It's got an easement. It's like kind of like a flagpole, all this stuff. Let's see, let's try to sell it for that. So we listed it for 425. We ended up once we dropped it 394, we got it under contract for 360, which is almost exactly the same price as this. And I'll show you guys real quick those numbers. So we have like this little land calculator we use. So let's say our purchase price for this one was 145,000. Marketing costs, we raised 160. So I'll just actually lower this to 13,000. Okay, so that's that. Then we ended up selling this list price. We'll put 394,500, and we ended up selling it for 360. 36. Okay. So with something's off here. One of our numbers are off. Total net profit 48. Yeah. Anyways, bought it for 145. We raised 160, so we ended up netting this plus this is our total profit. After our this plus this is our total profit. That comes back to our business. Our acquisitions manager is making fat check of 10,750 plus 1,000. So he's making our acquisitions manager is making like $12,000 almost on this property, which is awesome. And then we're making right here, we're making 136 plus 13,000. That's our total. So it's 139, 149 total goes back into our business. So it's pretty insane. That's not net. That's after paying our lender back, paying our acquisitions, all closing costs, paying our realtor, everybody. This is a really good deal. Really, really good deal. So that's what this one looks like. So what we did is we popped it in here. We wanted to see what it would look like. And that's how we knew it was a deal. So this property in general, overall, was actually fairly simple to get under contract. So the seller himself was a pretty casual guy. He owned the land forever. His son hunted on and everything like that. And then they just realized, like, look, we're not doing anything with this. We've owned it for like since like the 70s, and it's just been sitting there. Like, why don't we capitalize on it? So we just hit them at the right time, right place. It's basically all that happened. Right time, right place, and he just went with it. Um, so once so once we got that, he just kind of he's he yeah, we sent the contract over, we signed it. We told him that, look, the only thing we have to do is just make sure the easement's there. As long as we have our easement, we're good to go. And he said, okay, great, no problem with that. So we called soon right away. We tried to get a surveyor in there. Surveyors were booked out. Like, we could not get a surveyor in there. I called probably 60 or 70 surveyors, and every single one of them was just booked out, and they don't even want to deal with like boundary line easements or anything like that for this type of property. In North Carolina, it was insane. So I found the guy that did the one that was right next door, and he's like, yeah, I could do it. He's like, no problem, but give me like 2 or 3 weeks and I'll get it done for you. I was like, that's fine. I'll give you a couple extra bucks if you get it done in the next 2. And he's like, you got it. So I said, I just need you to do the easement. I don't need a whole boundary line. Just do the easement for me, and that's it. So I think he cost about $2,200, something like that, to get it done. And that was that. So also, guys, if you guys don't know about this, the Las Vegas landinvestor.co mastermind in Vegas, we're going to be talking about all these types of deals and actually wheeling and dealing too. Probably bringing some awesome speakers in and everything like that. This is going to be our last mastermind. Was insane. This one's going to be way crazier. Like, I think Sumner dropped everything on this and he's just going nuts. So you got to make sure you come to that landinvestor.co/mastermind. If you want to see how we're doing 6-figure deals and doing all this stuff, boom, come to this mastermind. How would you handle the seller's callback when he finds out what you resold it for? That's a good question, John. That's a really good question. We'll talk about that. So anyways, getting this under contract is pretty easy. Getting that done, all that stuff was pretty easy. Now, this guy, he probably could have, this brings your question into, John. He probably could have listed it with a broker or something like that. Now, what happened with him is he talked to one broker, and the broker told him, yeah, it's not really worth much, right? And the reason why is because that broker was a house guy. They don't know anything about land. So because they didn't know anything about land, they kind of just brushed it off, and that was that. Now, so once we talked to him, and we were like, yeah, whatever. We sent him the mailer and like that. He's like, look, my broker told me I could probably get 180 for it, something like that. If I listed it, but then I'd have to pay her. It's not. Your offer was pretty much where we needed to be. Perfect. He's like, if it's simple, I'll take it. Cool. So that's kind of how that came to be. Now with that, what we did is we already knew we were in a good price, something like that. So once we went through and did our due diligence, found out I had the easement, we were like, let's just buy it. So if this guy calls me back and he says anything, it's really, at the end of the day, we own the property. So it doesn't matter what we do with it once we buy it, right? If he says anything, he could call back and say what we resold it for. He'd be like, look, we went in there, we got our survey done, we got timber value done, and we got all this stuff ready to go. And then we marketed it the right way so that somebody who is buying this for timber can see that true value. Unfortunately, they didn't do their job. They could have done that themselves, but they did not. So that's really like my rebuttal to that. I doubt he'll call back. There are a lot of these people that aren't that tech savvy in a sense, where they're not going to actually go on Zillow and like see if you sold it, whatever. They're not going to do that stuff. So I'm not too worried about it realistically. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. With that. So I wouldn't really worry too much about it. Now, if you're doing like a double close, yeah, that does come up. We actually had a couple properties that we listed as a double close, and they ended up seeing the listing. They're like, how can you offer us, 50K, and then you have it listed for like 90K? And we were like, well, look, sometimes we market it, just try to move it faster, this and that. Maybe sometimes our at the end of the day, like, our goal is to get this thing moved fast. And sometimes if we can't do it, we try to bring in another buyer. That's why we list it, try to see if we can move faster. That's usually what we say for that stuff. So yeah, we weren't too worried about it because we already owned it. So that was pretty much that. Now once we so we went through our acquisitions, we got our easement done, easement recorded and everything like that, closed on the property. Now everybody's like, well, how'd you get $145,000, $160,000 to lend this? Well, it was a pretty simple conversation with, anybody who has a little bit of money. You telling them, hey, look, let me show you this again. Go back up here. Hey, this is actually the lender that came on here was actually one of my really good friends. I've known him forever. He's a longshoreman and he makes a bunch of money, just doesn't have time. So I said to him, I said, hey, Rob, you want to make 16 grand in like 40 days. Or I told him in 120 days, you want to make 16 grand. He's like, hell yeah. I'm like, cool. Here's the deal. I showed him, I said, this is basically it. I kind of like basically broke it down for him. I recorded a loom, sent it to him about the property. And I showed him this calculator essentially. And I showed him all the numbers, what we're going to list it for, all that stuff. And I was like, this is how much you'll make right here. 10% of the total money you lent is how much you'll make. And he's like, so I'll make $16,000. I'm like, yeah. And if it goes past 120 days, it'll go here. Or past 240 days, it goes here. He's like, sounds like a plan. That's it. And he saw that we had a property that the spread between the value and the purchase price was more than double. He was like, yeah, dude, all day I'll lend on that stuff. So getting this capital was actually one of the simplest things. If you go to somebody and, you come with an actual plan in mind and have like comp supporting your pricing and all that stuff, easiest thing ever. And if not, if you're inside Leah, there's also funders in there. If you bring this to a funder, they'll fund it all day. Now they'll take a little bit more of a chunk, but hey, you'll get the deal funded. You'll make a huge chunk of money. So it's totally worth even just using funders on this deal. So this deal right here, my lender makes $16,000. We record a note, promissory note, deed of trust, and JV agreement, and title policy. So those 4 things protect him. He could sue. We can't close the property unless he releases that lien, all that stuff. So we're going to wire him back $176,000. He's going to get his full principal plus $16,000 from May. It's May 22nd today. We're closing on this May 30th. So that was 30 days, another 31 days. So that's 61 days. So I think the total, it was about a little shy of 90 days that his money's been out. He'll get that back. Now, he's already in another deal that we put him in. And then he's done like 4 other deals with us. So it's pretty much a no-brainer for him to do these. So he's actually, this lender alone this year is going to make $90,000 just off me so far this year. Just one lender. Last question. I know we already talked about your private lending structure, what is awesome, but do lenders care how much you're making versus what they're? No. So, all right. So this comes up a lot too. Lenders, do they get pissed on how much you're making versus what they are? Look, at the end of the day, a lender comes in, they're making $16,000 and didn't do a single thing. They didn't do any of the acquisitions, anything at all. Nothing. They did nothing. And they just said, here's the money, bring it back to me with friends. And that's that. They're happy. I'm happy. That's pretty much how it is. Yeah. So they're happy with it because they know in the stock market, they're making what? They're making maybe 8% on average. I'm giving them 10 points in their money. So, and I'm going to recirculate this money probably 3 to 4 times in 1 year. So essentially he's going to make an effective 40% return on his capital if I return it 4 times in a year. So he'll make $16,000 times 4. That's 32. That's $64,000 off the same 160K. Where else are you going to make that money? So it's a no-brainer for him to do these deals. And as far as us making this money, I get it. He would care, but at the same time, like, I'm actually not making this. This money is not going in my pocket, just so everybody's clear too. I'm not putting this back in my pocket. This money goes into our business. So we're only making I'm actually making the same amount as he is, essentially. Um, I'm only making so me and Rob each individually only make 10% of this. The rest of it stays in our business. So I could break that down for you more too. But what we basically do is we break down our money in a different pots. So 50% goes into operating account, 20% goes towards taxes, and then 10% goes to profit, 10% goes to me, and 10% goes to Rob. So I'm only making, if we make 148,000, I'm making 15,800 off this deal. That goes into my personal account or my, business account. Profit first. Yep, you understand it. So that's how we make money. So I'm not just taking 160K and putting it in my bank account. No, this goes into our business. We have operating accounts, operating expenses, and all that stuff to keep the business running. So that's how we break it all down. So essentially, my lender is actually making more than me. So I lied. I have one more question. What's your lender's? So it's funny. Everybody asks this question all the time. Like, so this guy, I went to kindergarten with him, and we've been friends since kindergarten, and we've just stayed friends our whole lives. And he's a longshoreman, and he works crazy amounts of hours. He makes about 400K a year, and probably about 400K a year. But he's got like crazy amounts of hours. He just doesn't have time. But he's like, I just want to leave my job. I'm like, well, look, let's keep lending on deals. We'll build up your nest egg, and then we'll get you out. He's like, all right, fine. So let's do it. So that's kind of how that happened. Now, since he's been lending on my deals. He's been doing house deals with me for years and all that stuff. So me and him have a really good relationship. So knowing, like, talking to people and telling people what you're doing is the best thing you could ever do, because you don't know who's got money sitting on the sidelines. Like, if you talk to this kid, he's so unsuspecting. You would never know that he's got almost $1 million cash sitting in his bank account. You would never know it. Now, the other cool thing is that his friends that are also longshoremen all have the same amount of money just sitting in their bank account doing nothing. So guess what? I have all these people that are coming in that want to lend on deals for me. I just need more big deals like this so I can put them in. That's really the hardest hurdle right now, is getting more of these bigger deals. So talking to people, telling them what you're doing and why you're doing and how much money they can make, and you make, all this stuff, best thing you could do. What you don't do is say, hey man, do you want to lend money? Do you want to lend money on a deal, this and that, and whatever? Like, people are going to say no. But what I do instead is I talk to them and say, hey, look, I just had a lender come in. This is a deal we just did. He just made $16,000 in 90 days, blah, blah, blah. And I explained it to them, and they're like, wait, why didn't you come to me? I have the money. I'll do that too. Boom. There you go. Now you have another lender. That's kind of how we pitch it to different lenders and stuff like that. 10%. So 10% lender is great versus 50%. Now, if you're just getting started, you don't have any private lenders. I've been in real estate for 15 years. I have private lenders all over that I use. So it's a little bit different for me. So I have a slight competitive edge. But your standard land partnership is, they're going to go start at like 20% and then work their way up to 50%. It's still money you're making. You'd still make 90 grand on this deal. $90,000 still goes into your pocket. So it's like, why would you not work with those guys to get these big deals done? Now you just do that 3-4 more times, and now you have a nest egg, 300K, and now you could just fund your own deals. So it's totally possible. I told them I got those relationships. Yeah, that's the thing, John. That if you have those relationships, your goal. You're going to be able to excel. You just need bigger deals. I actually have a problem right now because I need bigger deals like this, and I just don't have enough of them, right? Enough of them with big spreads like this, because I have so many lenders that are like, hey, we want to lend, and they just don't have the capital to. I just don't have enough deal flow to put all the lenders I have into these big deals. If I could do 10 of if I got 10 or 15 of these a month, I still would probably need more deals to keep my lenders happy. It's a good problem to have. So this deal, if you guys haven't seen it yet, where is it? Let me just show you this. So this is the free Chrome extension for Land Insights. If you guys want to pick that up, it's totally free, absolutely free. And then if you guys are looking to become a Leah member and talk more, like come into these meetings, actually, I have my sales meeting tomorrow night, where we break down all these types of things. We will call some sellers live tomorrow. I think last week, the last sales call I locked up a deal live on the sales call. It was actually pretty cool. I had a lead come in off my website, hop the phone, talk to the seller. Within 8 minutes, I sent him a contract, and we're buying it. It's a small deal. It's like a buy for 2,500, tiny little deal, but like buy for 2,500, and I'm going to sell it for 22,000 probably on seller finance. So it's a cool little deal, whatever. But it's just the fact that we can do these things live. We'll call some of your sellers and all that stuff. So anybody who's a Leah member already, bring some sellers tomorrow. Let's call. I want to lock up some crazy deals. That's awesome. That's insane. Yeah, 40K last year. Excited for better function. Good job, pal. Good job. Dude, making lenders money is the best thing, because now if you keep making them money, guess what? Their pot grows, less taxes you pay. Now you get to go ahead and do bigger deals with them later on and stuff. Like my buddy Robbie, we do all kinds of big stuff. We'll do deals all over the country. We're gonna buy some mobile home parks now together and a couple other things. So it's kind of like a no-brainer for these guys to get in. So all in all, that's pretty much the full breakdown of this deal. If you guys have any questions about it, feel free to ask. You could ask in Discord. You could ask here. I'll definitely break it down for you guys. Overall, this is a really simple deal. Honestly, it was a lot. This deal was simpler than the buy for 20s, sell for 40s. I'll straight down 100% say that. For some reason, the bigger deals are just easier to deal with. The type of the seller profile, everything like that. It's just a lot easier. How much mail do we send right now? So we send right now, we just redid a bunch of things. So we're kind of ramping back up to getting back into this. We were sending about 20,000 pieces a month. And then we just scaled back now because we redid everything. So we're actually sending, it's funnily enough, now that we're scrubbing more, we're actually sending the same amount of good quality mail, if this makes sense, right? We're actually sending only about 6,000 to 10,000 pieces per month, but we just took out all the fluff. So we're saving money. So we're actually, we're mailing less, but we've actually increased our ROAS, or return on ad spend, because the types of mail and deals we're getting now are better, right? There are deals that we would have, we normally just pass on. We're not getting those calls anymore because we're not mailing them, because we're scrubbing them. We're using scrubbing. Land Insights has scrubbing now, which is perfect. You can just boom, upload your list and scrub it right away, which is awesome. Scrubbing out these crappy deals actually gets us a better ROAS. So we're sending about 10,000. We're going to ramp that back up to a higher number, probably 15 to 20,000 again. The team that we have to be able to scrub all those deals, price all those deals, get everything mailed ready, and all that stuff is actually pretty big to do that. So we're like, all right, do we want to keep it at the 10 or go to the 20,000 per month, or add in some other different acquisitions channels and all that stuff. So far so good with that. We're pretty happy with, kind of where we're at, but yeah. Awesome, guys. I'm gonna call this right now. Anybody have any other last minute questions? I don't mind answering, but yeah, let's hop into Discord if you guys aren't there. Let me see if I can have the banner. Let's see. Actually, right down below. If you go down below, you could hop in the Discord. The link's down there. Please make sure you're coming out to this mastermind. It's gonna be so fun, and I'll put this up again. This right here, the webinar, May 29th at 3 p.m. landinvestor.co/webinar. You got to come to it. Just come hang out, talk to Summer, all that stuff. It's gonna be a really good webinar. I'm really stoked about it. I'll be there, so come check it out, and yeah, we'll take it from there. All right, guys, appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for listening to this deal breakdown. You guys should start collecting some of your own dirt right here. I'm gonna have an entire wall filled with dirt. I have 10 more at least bags that have to go up on this wall. So yeah, we'll see. All right, guys. You have a good one. Later.